Joining me now with more is Melissa Otto, head of telecom, media, and technology research at S&P Global Visible Alpha. Melissa, thank you so much for joining. And what does this investment mean?
Hi, thank you. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting move. He's done this before. Masayoshi-san is prone to wanting to make a splash in the U.S. with significant investments. I think if we look at their balance sheet based on Visible Alpha consensus, they are expected to have between $40 and $50 billion in cash over the next couple of years. So I think, from a liquidity standpoint, the company is in a good place. And I think from an investment perspective, Son is probably looking for the next Alibaba. I can remember the days when he shook hands with Jack Ma when it was just a startup and they were an early investor there. And that company has grown and done extraordinary things. So it'll be interesting to see what the next generation of AI startups are going to bring into the marketplace. And I suspect that that's what he's looking for.
Melissa, are there specific companies that you think could benefit from this investment?
It's hard to say. I mean, right now we've seen a lot of innovation in the model and the chip around generative AI, but what we really have not seen is a significant innovator around the application layer. And so I think, that could be something where a startup really comes into the mix and with significant investment and a great vision could really change the dynamics of the ecosystem.
I'm curious, in terms of technology as a whole, we saw that sector really fuel much of the bull market. Of course, the bull market for the S&P 500 officially turning 2 this time around in October. Do you anticipate that momentum, that outperformance can continue?
We'll see. I mean, based on what we've seen in the index, 55% of the performance of the S&P 500 has been driven by essentially 6 mega cap tech stocks, with 17% of the return since the beginning of 2023 for the entire index coming from NVIDIA. So, as we look forward over the next 2 years, it will be very interesting to see if we see a diversification there, if we start to see growth and momentum trickle into other industries. That's certainly something I'm watching very carefully. Additionally, cap size. The mega caps have really dominated. Will we start to see a better environment for small caps, particularly as rates come down?
Of course, the market is by and large betting with about a 95% chance, Melissa, that the Fed will move forward with another 1/4 percentage point of a rate cut at its decision tomorrow on Wednesday. In terms of the impact here on the sector, what could that mean for technology names?
Yeah, S&P Global Market Intelligence also expect 25 basis points rate cut. What is going to be interesting is what he says about 2025 and the outlook, what they may position. If we turn the clocks back a year, you may remember that he signaled that they were going to make 3 rate cuts, and the market went pretty wild in the last couple of weeks of the year. So it'll be interesting to see if he's a bit more conservative this year, or we get a similar type of commentary. I'll be keenly listening tomorrow.
It's been interesting because certainly amid higher rates that coincided with high inflation, certainly since 2022, deal making had slowed down a bit, and certainly startups weren't necessarily as much in the spotlight as we had seen prior to COVID. Could we see a changing of the tide here with the new administration starting in 2025?
I mean, I feel like every time there's a new administration, I get asked that question by the media. And I think, what our position is, and, what I've observed over the years of investing is that markets are not very good at discounting for any sort of political risk. markets tend to react specifically to fundamentals and valuation and what the macro and economic environment are doing to support that. I think, going forward, if there are some policy changes, there may be, some incremental opportunities, but it's very difficult to say. Things just don't really seem to move that quickly when it comes to political agendas.
Melissa Otto, head of telecom, media, and technology research at S&P Global Visible Alpha. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.